Hello YouTube, this is Maltry Pirate, welcome back to the channel, and today we are doing an album ranking video. Today's band is Avatar. They are a Swedish heavy metal band from the Gothenburg area. Considered a melodic death metal band, circus metal and groove metal band. They have just released their 10th studio album, Don't Go Into the Forest, which was released on October 31st. Now, as per usual with these ranked videos, it's always down to personal opinion. I'm pretty sure that some of you will probably find my rankings maybe a little bit strange, but I also would like to hear what yours are as well, because I find it interesting what people do and don't like, and I think there's a general consensus of generally what is kind of good, but I think it's down to personal taste of who kind of prefers what. So, feel free to drop us a comment, let me know your ranking and what you think of mine. Also, consider hitting that subscribe button if you're into the strange brand of form of entertainment. That is myself. With all that out of the way, let's crack on, shall we? Let's go. Gotta start somewhere with our ranking, and album number 10 is Thought of No Tomorrow from 2006. For me, their debut album is their weakest album. You can definitely tell they have been great musicians from the start and they've only got better. But the production on this isn't brilliant. There's one song that I enjoyed from it, which was War Song, but for me, I'm not really a big fan of this album. Overall, it sounds very sort of generic, and I definitely think they've done better. Number 9 is, I do believe it's pronounced Schlacht. It's spelled Sclacht, and it's from 2007. For me, again, this album sounds a little bit generic, but I did like 2 tracks off of this album, 4am Breakdown and Die With Me, and you can definitely tell they're heading more with this album in the direction that they've started heading now, and I think that's absolutely great. But this again is not an album that I will listen to a lot, so I don't really know much about these 2 albums overall, which is kind of why I put them at obviously 9 and 10. I just generally think they're not as interesting as what the other ones were. Generally the Avatar albums are really good. So moving on to number 8, which is the self-titled album Avatar from 2009. Now, as I mentioned before, you can tell where they were going in terms of direction, and this album sounds more like the more well-known albums, sort of a bit more like How the Apocalypse and Black Waltz. I've put this at number 8 because I do find a lot of the times that even the band don't play songs off of this album, and there's not particularly much on this album that I also really sort of enjoy. There are songs that stood out, being Revolution for Two and Out of Our Minds. These are the ones that really I was like, wow, these are really, really cool, and you can definitely see where they're progressing into sort of the sound that they went for, and it's definitely a stepping stone, and I can understand why they don't really play those first 3, because they definitely have better songs. Now, this is where it starts getting very, very difficult, because I'm genuinely a big fan of the next 7 albums for all different reasons. Coming in at number 7 is 2020's Hunter Gatherer. Now, these albums genuinely are going to be harder to place, and it's actually much harder than I thought. I've put Hunter Gatherer here because for me, there's just better albums. Colossus, God of Sick Dreams are absolute bangers, but for me, what lets this album down is mainly the song Gun. It's a little slow and it takes away from the pacing of the album. I prefer to listen to the main songs off the album mixed in with a playlist, more than sort of the album itself compared to others. I genuinely think the guitar work, the vocals, drums are on point as usual. Production is fantastic, and there genuinely is nothing wrong with it. It's just one of those ones that over other albums, there's definitely ones that are better, and that's why Hunter Gatherer is at number 7. At number 6, I have put Feathers and Flesh from 2016. Now, I know this is quite a popular album for many people. Now, I place this at number 6 because I have the version of this on CD that has the extra audio story. And I genuinely thought that was really, really cool to start off with. But after a while, I kind of just wanted to listen to the music. I thought it was a really good concept, but I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would. Obviously, standout tracks for this include House of the Eternal Hunt, New Land, Eagle Has Landed, One More Hill, For the Swarm. I could go on. It's a really, really good album. All their albums are fantastic. But overall, I think this is only going to get harder because there's obviously more that I enjoy. Now, coming in at number 5 is 2018's Avatar Country. Now, this is the album that got me into Avatar themselves back in 2018. Now, this is one of my favourite albums. I love the aesthetic from start to finish. I love the fact that all songs were about the king and the way they added the national anthem, and they added speaking parts, halfway through, and the fact they actually finished with the 2-part instrumental, which I genuinely thought was brilliant. Obviously, standout songs, Legend of the King, Statue of the King, King's Harvest, King After King. With Feathers and Flesh, I thought it was a really good concept and a concept album. For me, this one just worked a little bit better. And because this is the album that got me into Avatar, and the fact it's one of my favourites, I've put it a little bit higher over Feathers and Flesh, but they're very much the same in terms of how good they are. And again, this list is very, very difficult to write. Next up at number 4 is Don't Go in the Forest. The brand new album from this year, 2025. It's the latest release, and it's definitely a step forward in the way that the band write. And they're still not losing elements that make the band awesome. Keeping with these heavy, melodic, catchy choruses. So, as usual, constant theme with this band is production. The production is insanely awesome on this album. They've done such a good fucking job. The whole band did a great job for that matter, to be honest with you. I really liked how diverse the songwriting was in this album while keeping things the way that Avatar sounds, but also expanding that sound out as well, and just trying new stuff and, flicking shit against the wall, see if it sticks, and it's stuck every time, which I think is brilliant. And this is the one album that I genuinely think I would give to someone if I wanted to get them into Avatar. I think this is a great starting point because you have songs like Captain Goat, which is a little bit slower, but then you have stuff like In the Airways, which is insanely heavy but insanely catchy. Tonight We Must Be Warriors, also it's a bit quirky but still catchy. Don't Go Into the Forest is genuinely one of my favourite songs from Avatar off of this album, and you can see where they've experimented with their songwriting, and again, it has just worked. I think the reason why I put it at number 4 is because I think there is generally slightly better albums. And again, if you know this band, you'll know where I'm going from here and how hard this actually is to put into terms of which one is best, because they're all good for so many different reasons. Coming in at number 3 is Dance Devil Dance from 2023. Again, this is also one of my favourite albums from Avatar. I went to the listening party in London for the day this came out, and it's just one of those albums that just clicked. Absolutely just clicked for me from the start. As usual, the production and musical arrangements are absolutely fucking on point. ranking these albums has been so hard because I like all of the albums. First three, not quite so much. They were a little bit easier to place. But working my way down the list is so much harder to do, and especially with albums that just clicked straight away. I think they managed to put elements from everything that they kind of had before, and they've just managed to bring it all into this album. Now, you've got awesome songs like The Dirt I'm Buried In, Dance Devil Dance, Valley of Disease. I can go on with this album. It's absolutely perfect. It's 41 minutes of gloriousness. And I've got 2 albums left. So, number 2 is Hail the Apocalypse. So, Hail the Apocalypse. These last 2 albums, genuinely, for me, very difficult to rank. One slightly beats out the other, so second place goes to Hail the Apocalypse. This album is stupidly heavy, but also can be quite a lot of fun. Musicianship and arrangements and stuff like that is all fantastic. Production, again, brilliant. This album's got songs like Hail the Apocalypse, Vultures Fly, Bloody Angel, Murderer, Puppet Show, and Get in Line. And it just flows so nicely into one another. All the songs just flow so well. And it's just so good. But it is beaten out by the number 1 choice. That number 1 choice being Black Waltz. So we finally reached number 1, which of course is Black Waltz. The album that absolutely changed everything for this band. And in my opinion, is their best album. In terms of production, it's on point. The change up of style and their signature sound and look, it just absolutely fantastic. They hit the ground running with this album. I think if they'd continued going the way that they were before, I don't think they could be quite as popular. I don't think they're that popular at the moment in terms of where they should be because this band is so good. But you just look at the songs off of this album: Torn Apart, Ready for the Ride, Black Waltz, Let It Burn, Paint Me Red, Smells Like a Freak Show, all absolute bangers. And this is the album that brought the band to the next level and made them a standout act. Because of this album. It is so good. And it's one of those ones where there's never a dull moment as well. So all the songs just blend nicely into each other. And it just makes the album so much better. This genuinely has been one of the hardest rankings I've had to do so far. Obviously, it can be hard to separate favourites from which ones are the best. At times, it does happen. Please consider hitting that subscribe button and drop a comment. Let me know what you think of my ranking and let me know what your ranking is. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. We shall see you all soon. Bye-bye.